We are live. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Sweet Lord, we are back. And guess what? We're back in the original studio. The studio, I call it. Yes, I dare to call it the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on reading week from university. That's right, I got a fall break. I just hit my microphone. Hold up. Okay, here. 1 sec. Unprofessionalism at its best. There we go. We are back. Sweet baby Jesus. We are in the original studio. The studio that I shouldn't say studio. It's just a room in my basement that I did all my videos till I went to university. And now this is my last week. I recorded this on a Wednesday and we're home and I was about to go to bed. I was like, you know what? For old time's sake, because I haven't made a video down here in 2 months. I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's rock it. Let's rock it. So before we get into anything, I got a little shout out. Not a sponsor. No one's paying for this, but I got a little shout out. You may know a guy by the name of Mr. T Lexify. He just hit 100,000 subscribers. He does zombies just like me. And I did a little collaboration with him. So what it is, I probably won't remember to go down into the description and put a link. So I'm going to remind you, I'm just going to let you guys know that if you want to go over, you can go to, just search Mr. T Lexify. That's MrTLEXIFY. Mr. T Lexify, all one word. And he has a video called Mr. T Lexify's 100K subscriber grief match, hashtag OG Mr. Lex Smith Nova Rave in the city of Z 411 HD. So that is our little collaboration. It was me, Mr. T Lexify, Mr. Dave the Rave. Who else we got? Oh my goodness, he has so many freaking. Okay, you know what? It's me, Lex, Dave, Novera HD, City of Z, and OG X-Rays. There were 6 of us. We did a little grief match for him. Just thought I'd let you guys know about that if you're interested. Go check it out after this though, because I don't want to drive you guys away. But I did just want to let you know about that little collaboration we did. It was really fun to actually play with some other YouTubers. I met Novera HD. I met the City of Z, and I met I already knew OG X-Rays, but I'd never talked to him in real life. So. Excuse me as I clear my throat there. That's it, guys. So, what, pray tell, are we going to talk about today? Well, actually, I don't know. Like I was saying, I was just got the studio rocking. The studio. I just like to call it the studio because it's like the dorm room setup, which is just hurting. It's so bad because my room's so small. I don't have any room. My desk sucks. So this is the studio. I call this now because it's such a better spot to make videos. I wish I had my real computer here. I'm just on my Mac recording a GarageBand. It's brutal. But what we're doing is, this is called what do you call this? A dry run? Not a dry run. This is a live run. This is a on the spot. I just decided, I was brushing my teeth. I was about to go to bed and I said, you know what? I'm going to make a podcast. I have no ideas. This is an improvised take. This is an improvised take of the SmithSquad Podcast. Now, all the episodes I do are improvised. I don't think things through. I don't say things before. I don't do a first take for an hour and then retake it. Everything is off the top of my head. But usually what I'll do is I'll think what's happened in the world today? Oh, okay, let's get a couple ideas. Let's see what's up, just check things out, see, make sure I have some topics. We got no topics today, nothing, everything that's going to come throughout this podcast is off the top of my head because this is number 26. I've been at this for a while, so I want to see how long I can go until I just run out of things to say and I'm just a rambling buffoon. So we're going to try to go for an hour because we always do, but if this ends at 30, then so be it, and it'll be just sweet 30. But yeah, we're back at the studio. This is so exciting for me. So I'm happy we're here. Go check out that thing. Now, let's get into our first topic, which is, I don't even know. I got to think. I got to talk as I'm thinking, coming up with an idea. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about me turning 19. Boom. off the top of my head, guys. I swear to God. I had like 4 things that I think I want to talk about. I want to talk about being 19 first. Excuse me. Oh God, I am still sick. Last podcast I recorded, I was a little horsey. I'm still horsey. I'm good. Horse, not horsey. What am I saying? That doesn't make any sense. But so, okay. I turn 19 tomorrow. So this is being recorded on the 29th of October. So I turn 19 on the 30th. So as this goes up on a Saturday, I know, weird, but the 31st is a Friday. So I wanted to do a scary top 5. We bumped it over to Saturday. We got some stuff going on, right? You know what I'm saying? We got some big events, man. I'm turning 19 tomorrow. As you watch this, it'll be November 1st. So, but as I record this, I turn 19. Now, if you're an American, you may be like, so what? Well, in Canada, that's the legal age of purchasing rather, and I guess consuming as well, of alcohol. Now, in the UK, basically all of Europe, it's 18. In some places, it's 16, I know. In Italy, it was actually 16 for beer, 18 for like harder liquor, like whiskey and rum and vodka and things like that. It's actually 18, but in Canada, it's 19. It's 18 in 2 provinces, which is like the equivalent of a state in the States, but it is basically 19 everywhere in Canada. States at 21, you guys are crazy. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is what it is. So I turn 19 tomorrow. And, as you turn 19, it's always like a really big event because they say you're a man when you turn 18. But when you're limited by your age, you're not a man. You don't feel like a full adult. You're not a full adult because it's like you're not old enough. You're not allowed to buy this. It's illegal for you to purchase this. You will go to jail if you purchase this. But technically, according to law, if I went and purchased, it would be illegal for me to purchase alcohol. But tomorrow, like literally, I'm not being sarcastic here, in 1 hour, it's totally fine. And you're just not a respected member of society. So yeah, when you turn 18, you can vote, you can go to military, but they won't let you have a drink. They won't let you buy cigarettes, Not that I want to buy cigarettes, but you know what I mean? It's stupid. So when you turn of age, like really the thing that is of turning of age in any country, I don't care what they say, is at the age where there's nothing else that you need to be, there's nothing that really restricts your age by law, if that makes sense. So, I mean, yeah, there's like pension plans and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? I've always felt that when I turned 17, it was like, okay, this age sucks because 16, I got my driver's license. 18, I'm an adult. So 17 sucked. And then I turned 18 and it was like, oh, wow, this sucks. I actually can't buy anything. The only things... Oh, my God. Wow, oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm so sick. I don't understand why. It's really awful. But so the only things that I might have to edit that out. That was kind of gross. That was kind of gross noise. But the only things that you're allowed to buy when you're 18. You know what? Here, I can actually pause this. This is cool. I'm going to pause this real quick. Clean my nose. We'll be right back. Okay, boom. That was like 30 seconds. That is such a neat feature of this application, but I really like that for the podcast. Anyways, so as I was saying, the only thing you can buy when you're 18 is basically porn. So I guess if you go into a sex shop, also sex toys, but that kind of like sexual things, porn, sex toys. That's about it. You're a consenting adult. You can have sex with anyone above your age or 2 years below, but anyone above your age. Once you're 18, you can have sex with a 90-year-old. It's not rape, but if you're 17 and you have sex with an 89-year-old, right, it is rape, that kind of thing. The other thing that you can buy that's pretty cool is fireworks. So when I turned 18, I did buy like one firework. I was going to buy a whole bunch, and I realized, man, this is so expensive. So I ended up buying one firework during the time I was 18. It wasn't right on my birthday, just so I could kind of exercise my rights. But I mean, you really don't have a lot. Yeah, you can vote, but I mean, I feel like our age just doesn't care about voting. We're so put down all the time. We're like, my opinion doesn't really matter if I vote. If my one vote doesn't do anything. So it always is just, nobody cares about voting. Nobody cares about voting. There's no incentive for us to vote, so we don't vote. Maybe, I don't know, make it there like a tax deduction. You can tax an extra, take off like an extra $500, $1,000 of taxes or something. I don't know. But just nobody has a desire to vote. So when you turn 18, yeah, you're an adult, but it really means nothing. But when you turn 19, that's when you can start getting stuff. You can buy an animal, which makes no sense. I'll get into that in a sec. You can buy an animal. You can buy a alcoholic beverage, or 20 if you really want. You can buy cigarettes, tobacco products, any kind of tobacco products or nicotine products. And is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. So alcohol, basically the feel good stuff, right? The drugs. We all are drugs that we like. You know how I feel about drugs. All that kind of good stuff. But you're told that you're an adult when you're 18. So it just sucks. It's so misleading. You're not, trust me, people out there, you're not going to be excited. You're not going to feel like you're an adult until you're 21. Man, if I was in the States, I would have a fake ID when I was like 18, because I just can't believe, like, 21 is so old. You can go to war. I mean, it's the same in Canada. You go to war when you're 18, but you can't drink till you're 19. But 21, you guys are the land of the free, for God's sakes. Yet you have one of the most strict alcohol policies in the world. There's no one that is older than you. There's only, this thing is completely illegal, which is kind of, I can see the logic behind that. You just say, no, people are dumb when they drink. We don't want our people doing this. But America's just like, yeah, you can do it, but you got to be really old, because it hurts your brain. But yeah, it probably hurts your brain when you're 52. I don't know. I'm sure there's a good science for it, but it's just weird how America is the land of the free, but they can't even drink until they're 21. Whereas Italy, you can do that when you're 16 if you want to. Anyways, the other thing I did want to mention was that whole, I've never talked about this before, but I really wanted to do a rant video on this. I never got around to it. But think about this. At the age of 19, you are, I should say at the age of 18, you are allowed to vote on who will be the leader of your country, who will represent you. Well, I guess really represent you to represent the leader of the country. I don't know. You kind of get the idea. You are allowed to go to war. You can kill somebody. You can take your gun and fire that pull that trigger, causing a tiny explosion that sends a little piece of lead down a long barrel, which will whiz through the air, puncture someone's skull, and destroy their brain, instantaneously killing them. You can create a living being, but you cannot buy a goldfish. Yeah. You can literally make a little version of you at the age of 14 legally, but you have to wait till you're 19 before you can own any animal. Really? What? What? I don't even know where to begin on that. I can take the life of another human being. I can be responsible for a miniature version of me, but I can't. What? I can't own a fish? So this all comes back to one day I was at the store and I was at my mall. I apologize. At the mall, and I wanted to purchase a fish. And I said, "Hi, I'd like to purchase the fish." And they said, "Can I see some ID?" And I said, "Here you go." And they said, "Sorry, you're not old enough." And I said, "Okay, what? I'm 18. How old do you have to be to buy a fish?" And they say, "You have to be 19. And I say, "Really?" And she says, "Yeah, I know, it's stupid. It's provincial policy." So I'm thinking here, if I want, as I was with my girlfriend, I said, I could go back, impregnate my girlfriend, and we can have a kid. And I could treat that kid Not horribly, because eventually social services will get after me, but pretty poorly. And that's fine. But you want me to wait till I'm 19 so I can be responsible for a goldfish. Our society is a little backwards. See, I think you shouldn't be able to have a kid till you're at least 18. And even 18, I don't think you should be able to have a kid because you're still a kid. I am not responsible for myself, let alone a kid. And honestly, I'm a pretty responsible person. I take care of stuff that I need to take care of in my life. I don't know how I would ever take care of a kid. But yet I'm allowed to. And yet I can't purchase a goldfish. So that makes no sense. And I guess when you expand on that, like, oh, you can't have a dog because you got to be responsible. If I can have a kid at 14, you are allowed to have, at 14 in Canada is the age of consent. So if you're having sex, obviously at that point you can have a kid. So I turned 14, I have sex with a girl, I impregnate her. The time of 15, I have a kid. I'm allowed to have a kid at 15, but I got to wait to 19 so I can purchase a goldfish for my kid. I don't know, guys. There's just something really backwards about that situation. So anyways, tangents aside, I am turning 19. That was a really long way to say I'm turning 19, right? But that's just kind of the nature of this podcast. I hope you enjoy that because that's what it's all about. But like we said, we are just going off the top of our heads. Anyways, back to turning 19. So I'm turning 19. Well, really in 57 minutes, but technically in like 13 hours because I was born at 1:05 in the afternoon on October 30th. So turn 19 tomorrow, and at least in Canada, I'm sure it's like this in the US. When you turn 19, what you do is you go to the bars with your friends, you go drinking, because you're 19, you want to exercise that right, exercise that ability. So that's happening. That's pretty exciting. Now, I am going back to my university town, and here's kind of not really a problem, but it's just it's a unique situation. So, like I said, this is my reading week. Most universities don't get a fall reading week. I don't know why. It's basically just okay. So spring break, March break. If you guys have that in high school, it's basically that, but in the fall. I know some high schools do that. Most universities do not. And there was a guy who actually committed suicide at our school. I want to say last year, may have been 2 years ago. I really don't know the story too well. So what they did this year is they said, we're going to give the students a fall reading week because especially for first years, you're getting into this. It's such a new experience. Get there, you're there for seven weeks, and then you have a week off. It is such a great idea. So moral of the story is everybody's away at university right now. I'm like an hour and a half from my school, so it's really not a big deal to drive there. So I'm an hour and a half from school. So we're going down tomorrow because tomorrow's Thursday. Thursday is like a good drinking day at my school. But the problem is I'm scared that there's not going to be many people there. Now, we want to go to the bars, have a good time. All my friends are good to go. Well, the friends that can good to go are going, right? You get what I'm saying. Like, the guys who are 19 are coming out with me, and I'm just really hopeful that there's actually going to be people at the bar because I don't want to go to the bar and there be like 10 people and it's lame for my 19th birthday, right? So I guess I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time, I feel like it's reading week, so the people who are there are gonna go out. You know what I mean? It's not really gonna. You're reading week. So reading week's a really good thing. And I like that, but I'm kind of nervous for my 19th birthday. On the other hand, this week has given me so much free time to get everything that's due next week done, because next week is the release of Advanced Warfare. And trust me, I got a lot. Ooh, just hit my thing. I got a lot of stuff to do next week. I got one midterm, one test. I got really late midterm, by the way. It's weird. But I got a midterm, I got a test, I got like 3 assignments due. So I got all my assignments banged out, they're ready to go. I got my test and my midterm. But on top of all that, I got Advanced Warfare to deal with. So like tomorrow's going to be basically written off. I'm going to wake up, pack all my stuff up. I'm going to go get in the car. Probably going to go to the liquor store because I got to exercise that right. You know what I mean? I'll probably go to the liquor store. Actually, I don't really consume tobacco products, but I do have a friend who does. So if he wants some, I'm going to buy it for him because I can exercise that right. So I got to exercise as many rights as I can. Now, I guess I just said I'm going to do something illegal on the internet. So that was just a joke. No, I'm not. Obviously, do you really think I'd be that... Do you really think I'd be that stupid? I mean, really. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know. I don't care that if you say you're going to do something illegal on the internet, does that matter? Is there really going to be someone who calls the cops and said he's going to buy tobacco? Honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to do it. So don't worry about it. And if it happens, it doesn't really affect anyone because he's old enough that he just goes in and buys it himself. He looks old enough. He has a huge beard. So it's all good. Nobody cares. We're just going to get past that little bit of illegality. Anyways, so I'll probably go to the liquor store. So that'll take us to about 12:30. Then from 12:30 to 2, we'll be driving. We'll get back to our school, get all our stuff packed up, and then it's like going to be my birthday. So I don't really want to start drinking at 3 in the afternoon, but it's my birthday, and I have a feeling my friends are going to make me. So, I mean, if it happens, it happens. You can't really get mad at me. It's my birthday. I have so many people worried about me right now, though. Really worried, because people who they go to university and they go off, and I've even talked about this before. People go to university and they go off and they start drinking so much, and they're just not used to the drinking experience. I've talked about it before. I've witnessed people do it. I'm so sorry. I guess coughing's probably better than grossness, but drink. Yeah, so I've talked about it before. Just people kind of going off and going crazy once they get to university. And people are saying that's me. And I'm like, no, man, that's not me at all. But people are saying yeah, you partied so much now. You used to be such a good kid. You got all good grades. That's all you did. And I'm like, you obviously weren't paying attention, because when I drank all throughout high school, I started drinking in junior high, which I mean, for people out of Canada, that'd be grade 9. So I guess in America, that would be freshman year. So I don't know if that's a lot, if that's early for there. It's I'd say a little bit early. Not too early in Canada, but definitely early. But people are all of a sudden saying oh, you're drinking so much and going so crazy. So university, I would say, I mean, there's the weird people who just all they do is study and they have no life, which sounds awful and is not a way to live your life. But I would say the average kind of person probably drinks once a weekend. The average person. That's including the people who don't really drink, too often. I would say most people who drink at university, drink, they're a drinker and they're party. Most people who party kind of, how do I even say it? So I'm saying average. All the people at university probably would total up to once a weekend. If you took everybody every time a person drinks and average that out, that maybe there'd be there's 3,500 people at my school. So maybe there'd be 3,500 times. So maybe one person would drink twice, one person would drink never, one person would drink 7 times. I don't know. You get what I'm saying though? So on the average day. Now, when we have midterms and stuff, that's way, way lower. But I would say averaging things out, let's just say once. The average person drinks once a week. Now, I would say there's a lot of people who drink twice a week. They'll drink Thursday night, they'll drink Saturday night. Now, Thursday night, not really much for first years because there's nothing to do because there's no house parties, but people go to the bars Thursday night. So, me, I'm a once a weeker. I'll drink usually on a Saturday, and that's about it. But I have drank twice on a weekend. I mean, Frosh Week, it's expected you drink every single week, and I didn't. I missed 2 days. So people really, really, I'm so shocked, but people have been worried about me, and they're like, man, like Patrick Smith, he's going off the wheels, he's drinking so much, he's so crazy now that he's got to university. And I'm sitting here okay, you need to look, you obviously don't know me, because all my friends, my close friends, haven't said a word about that. And I mean, I guess I did break up with my girlfriend, so I definitely am different, and I accept that. Just breaking up with your girlfriend, you're going to be a different person. But party-wise, no, man. When I was in grade 10, I really hope no one's listening to me right now because this is a bad story. But when I was in grade 10, man, I used to get so shit-faced. I did not know how to drink at all. And I feel like that's what people think I'm like now, but not at all. When I used to drink, man, my goal, it wasn't like to pass out, but I wanted no ounce of Patrick left, if that makes sense. Like I wanted everything to be totally different. All like rational thought to be totally gone, and for there to be I wanted like 100% different mindset from what I have. So if you like have a couple drinks, and for those of you who don't drink, I'm explaining this really weird, but if you have a couple drinks, you still got Patrick aside, you're still you, but you're still like, you're a little bit looser. You're kind of changed a bit. But I wanted to be like so drunk every time that it was like, just like I was on a different planet. And not like, I never wanted to be blackout. I never wanted to be shit-faced, but I wanted to be pretty friggin' drunk. That was grade 10. Grade 11, I guess I kind of started going to parties more, drinking a little bit. So I was like, I can't do this every time. Because in grade 10, like I drank like probably 5 or 6 times. So, it'd probably be more than that. Because I drank like 5 times that summer before. So let's say 10 times maybe in grade 10. But I was like just drinking to get really, really drunk. And it wasn't like, here's my thing. Here's how I explain it. I wasn't drinking for experiences. So like you drink, you get a little bit loose, you tend to do really stupid stuff. That's fun. I was more drinking just to get drunk because it was a new feeling. It was cool. So grade 11, I got a little bit more smart with it. I still was kind of like that, but because I was going to more parties where you had to control yourself, whereas like drinking with like 4 friends, you really can just bear all and be as stupid as you want. Grade 11, I got a little bit better, but not much. Then as grade 12 came along, and you kind of are more mature. When you go to a party, you see those people that are like I was in grade 10, and like, man, I don't want to be like that. And honestly, grade 12, I really didn't party that much. I went to way more parties in grade 11 than I did in grade 12. Now, when grade 12 summer came around, I gotta say, I drank quite a bit. Like, again, I really wasn't crazy. And when I did drink, I was like a lot more calmed down than I was when I was in grade 10. But I mean, I'd say I probably drank I had like 9 weeks of my summer. 15 times would be a stretch. And I'm saying 50 times like more than, let's say, more than 2 beer. Because if you sit down and have a beer, I don't really consider that like heavy drinking. It's just casual, right? And maybe people are listening to this and like, Patrick, you are an alcoholic. But if people do think that, like my observation is, man, if I'm an alcoholic, I don't want to know what half the people at my school are. But yeah, so grade 10, grade 9, I mean like grade 9 summer, that was interesting. We did not, at that point I wasn't even like into alcohol yet, so I guess I didn't even try to get too drunk because I didn't even understand it. So I just like have like, like 5 shots. Oh, I feel so cool. But then grade 10 got bad. Grade 11, a little better. Grade 12, pretty good, but I didn't drink much, so it was hard to tell. Grade 12 summer, I drank quite a bit, but every time, like I said, I was always pretty good, and I never wanted to be. I was like, I don't want to be hungover tomorrow, so I'd have like 4 or 5 drinks where you feel a little off the next day, but you're not hungover, feeling super, super shitty. So, excuse me. Oh my God. I don't know I hope you didn't hear that, but I'm just full of gross bodily noises tonight. So, as I was saying, grade 12, I got a little bit better drinking. Summer, I feel like I really controlled myself. And actually, I went to university, and like my frosh week, I guess of 7 nights, I drank 5. And most people drank all 7. I drank 5. And I mean, like, yeah, that's, if you were in any other situation, that'd be alcoholic. But university is not like that. Like, it's just, that's like expected of you. Most people said that I've talked to, like previous years, said when I went to my frosh week, I wasn't even sober for more than like 5 hours at a time. So I was like, okay, wow. Well, then I was really tame for that. Now, in a normal situation, yeah, that sounds really alcoholic, drinking 5 of 7 nights. But at university, I was like, man, I'm like chill. And I thought I was like, oh my God, I'm going off. But I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm lame as hell. So, I mean, university is really fun. And I'm not going to lie, you drink a lot. Yeah, you know, probably, like I said, like at least once a weekend. I guess I've only not drank one weekend. I took one weekend off. And then this week I haven't drank it this week. I drank a little bit at my camp, but I haven't like gone drinking. So where are we at? God, I feel like I'm like, I mean, who knows? Maybe I am an alcoholic and I'm just like justifying everything, but I really don't think I'm an alcoholic at all. At all. Nah, man. Nah, alcohol is not my drug. If I had to choose a drug that I was going to do every day, I'd definitely be a stoner, because there's no like, I wouldn't want to be a stoner though. See, I just wouldn't want to be addicted to any drug, I don't think. It just doesn't sound pleasant. Yeah, I don't smoke, by the way. I know I say that a lot, but I'm not into weed. Anyways, I'm sorry. Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, so this is just randomness. This is so, every podcast is so random, but this is even more random. So, grade 12 or university, I gotta be honest, I had one really bad night at university where I puked. It was bad. I threw up on my bed sheets. I walked into my room and just threw up all over them. So I had one really bad night, and that kind of like, that was like 3 weeks into university. So that really like put me off alcohol. Like, okay, I'm gonna need to control myself. So that next weekend I didn't really drink, and I didn't drink at all. So that happened. And then 2 weekends ago, when I was home, I talked about this in a previous podcast, but I had like such an eye-opening experience. I really, really did. I learned so much about alcohol. I just had such a nice perception change, and man, my opinion of alcohol completely changed. And since then, honestly, I feel like I have controlled my liquor so much more, and I'm so much more cognizant of my level of drunkenness, my actions as I am when I'm drunk. Because when people are drunk, man, they turn into animals. They literally, I'm sorry, I've been hanging out with my friend who says literally all the time. I'm sorry. And when you can use literally the right way, but they don't literally turn into animals. They do not literally turn into animals. They figuratively, see, at least I get all my bullshit there, right? They don't literally turn into animals. They figuratively turn into animals. People, like, this is my weekend, like a couple weekends ago, I could see this. People are they revert back to their primal instincts almost when they're drunk. It's so weird, but if you're in a particular situation where you can like observe that, oh my God, it's so fascinating to see that. So I got a really good kind of perception of alcohol, and I guess last week of the podcast, I didn't get to talk about this because I had Schwantz on, and I didn't want to talk about my drunken adventures because that's going to sound stupid in front of an adult. But the weekend before last, so the week before, how do I say that? So 2 episodes ago, 24, this is 26, 24, like 2 days after that was homecoming. And homecoming is this event at my school where you wake up and start drinking. Like, again, the epitome of an alcoholic. You wake up at 8 in the morning and you start drinking, and you drink all day long. So I wasn't really prepared for this. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm not that hard of a drinker. I can't do this. Every day I woke up falling into that week, and I thought about, okay, 8 o'clock, how would I feel about drinking a beer right now? And the thought made me gag. I was, oh, that's awful. I'd never, ever want to do that. But homecoming day came, and everyone around my floor was just so hyped. It was so much fun. It was just like the atmosphere wasn't like a typical morning. It was like, this is homecoming. So basically homecoming means it's like the idea is all the alumni in previous years will come back to Wolfville for a weekend. But for the students, it just means you get to drink your faces off. Anyways, so I wake up at 8, start pounding back the Jaeger bombs. Oh my God. And like, this is probably not a good thing you want to say if you're getting a resume, but hey, it is what it is, right? If I ever have to show my boss this, I'm not going to show him the SmithSquad podcast. I'm going to show him the other videos that I do that are quite tame. Here, one sec. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Again, I know it's bad, but we just got to do it. I took a quick break there. I feel like I don't like doing that, but I'm just kind of sick, so I don't want to have to make gross noises. But then I turned it back on and I coughed just to make it seem like, I don't know. Anyways, homecoming. So you wake up drinking, and like, it was an all-day drinking event. So if you're at an all-day drinking event where you start at 8, it's pretty easy to like get way too drunk or pass out or be puking. And I made it through that day peachy. I woke up. Me and my friend, I like, Jaeger bomb seems so aggressive, but what our reasoning behind that is like, we're not even going to be awake yet. So you get some alcohol into you, so you keep up with everybody else, but you kind of wake yourself up. And if you've ever mixed energy drinks with alcohol, don't do it. Number one, don't do it. And don't do it in heavy quantities. If you're going to do it, which like I said, you probably will, don't do it a lot. Like one Red Bull tops, which I'll tell a really funny story about that maybe if you guys want. But one Red Bull tops, and nothing more than that. It just is so bad for you. So we had that, and actually it was really, really good because actually did help wake me up, and the liquor kind of got me feeling a little bit. But alcohol and caffeine is a stimulant versus a depressant. They cancel each other out. So you don't go up, you don't go down, you just go out. If that makes sense. So imagine like a graph, right? Like a vertical and a horizontal graph. One way is up, or actually like how do I explain this? No, that's a stupid. All right, here. So like a normal graph, like there's like an up and a right, but imagine there's also a down. So like if you're good like with graphing, there's like a left, a right, an up and a down, but we're just going to go from X is 0 on. So if you take a stimulant, you're going up, it takes you up. If you take a depressant, it takes you down. But I kind of feel like a stimulant, but with energy drinks, it just takes you outward. So like, you're not like super up, you're not super down, but you're not like normal, which like normal would be on the coordinates would be like 0, 0. So like the starting point on a graph, but you're just outward. You're just going straight out. And at any point you can fall down to the alcohol side. You can go up to the caffeine, and usually you're going to have more alcohol than caffeine. So the caffeine's going to give out and the alcohol is just going to fall down. I hope that makes sense. I wish I could draw this for you right now because I'm thinking about it. It makes so much sense in my head, but it probably doesn't make any sense to you. So if you like, that's what it is. It's like just, yeah, that's exactly it. So you got a straight line going down. That's your y-axis. So there's positive numbers, there's negatives. The positive numbers are like, I'm really having fun talking about this. The positive numbers are being stimulated, being above your level of energy, right? So caffeine, like smoking cigarettes will do that. It's a stimulant, right? And you drink an energy drink, you feel a little elevated. So that's what that is. Any positive number is that. The downward is like how down you are, right? So if you smoke weed, that'll kind of take you mellow down, right? Alcohol, although it does make people rowdy, it is a depressant, and I guess at first it's kind of like a stimulant. Maybe alcohol is weird and it can exist as both a stimulant because people seem like crazy on alcohol, but it's because like a certain part of their brain's being depressed, which allows them to kind of go do crazy things, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So anyways, that's what I'm saying. So you can go up for stimulants, down. So if you go straight out, which is the X, so if you're at 0 Y's, you're just nowheres, but you're going straight out, that is just your level of being messed up. The X level is your level of being just messed up. Up is stimulants, down is depressants. So you drink a Red Bull, it's going to bump you up a little bit, right? It's going to bump you up. And this is just totally tangents, but this is awesome. I love this is what the SmithSquad podcast is all about. I got to draw a picture for this though. I really do. Here. Paint online. Boom. Sketch and paint. All right, we're going to do this, and hopefully I can put this in. Okay. I really hope I can include this. So I'm going to draw this, and as I draw this, I'm going to explain it, and maybe it'll just be one big thing on yours. But, okay, so like I was saying, we got the y-axis, and we got the x-axis. So the x-axis is the one that goes outward. It goes straight out. That's what I was talking about before, up and down. So that's stimulant, and that is depressant. So this is, okay, so the red dot on here, as I'm drawing this, that's normal U. That is normal U. If you follow the green up, that is a stimulant. So caffeine might be more like, a little lower, but you see that green arrow going up, that is your stimulant. And the one below it, that is going to be blue. I'm doing this all at the same time, in time, but you're going to see just one long graph. The blue one, that is depressant, right? The red one, that's you. That's you at base level 0. That's just normal you, normal me right here. So going up means you're getting stimulated. Going down means your body's being depressed. And just outward is just how messed up you are. This is our graph. This is science right here, okay? So when you drink, we're gonna have a lighter blue. We're gonna have a lighter blue. When you drink, I wish I was like screen capping this because this is sick. I might have to do this again. This is awesome. So when you drink, you have a little drink, and then you do a little more, and you do a little more, and you do a little more. So the whatever. So the lighter one is like our example there. So that is drunk. Really hope I remember to put this on the podcast. This is going to be awkward. That is drunk. And the green way, it's kind of hard to say what that would be, but that would just be like, I don't know. I mean, just like, you're stimulated, right? So the yellow one on here, as you're going to see, yellow, or what happens if you mix green and blue? What do you get? I don't know. Okay, so yellow, this is what happens when you take energy drinks. You go straight out. You see the yellow one there? That's straight out. So you don't feel depressed. You don't feel stimulated, but you're messed up. You're somewhere's not good. And what's happening here is it wants to go down. The alcohol wants to take you down. And we're actually going to draw that out even a little bit more because you've had a couple drinks, right? So you had a couple drinks, you had a couple things. So yellow is outwards, and it wants to, the alcohol wants to draw you down. But you have this caffeine, right? So that green's keeping you up. But the green's keeping you up, but the blue's trying to drag you down. So it balances out at 0. But the problem with caffeine is always going to go to your body before the alcohol does. If you've had a lot of drinks, it takes a long time to process. Caffeine, not so much. So at a certain point, the caffeine's going to stop. Caffeine is going to stop, and you go like the arrow after the yellow one, straight down. Because the caffeine wears off. Maybe not straight down, be a little curved down, but it's not like that gentle slope, right? You see how you see the dark blue one that's kind of down. You see the lighter blue that's like like a normal day drinking, and then the other one, it's like you're going and you just fall off a cliff, man. It's not good. This is such a tangent right now, but like what I'm saying is like don't drink energy drinks with alcohol, because what you do is you're going and you're feeling good. And what I'm trying to say here is like the alcohol will try to keep you, or the alcohol will drag you down, make you depressed and stuff, and you feel that. But the caffeine keeps you up, so you don't feel the effects of the alcohol in its entirety. So if you're an experienced drinker, you'll have 5 drinks. 5 drinks will feel like 2 because the caffeine just keeps you awake. But you still have those 5 drinks in you, no matter what. They're still in you. So you're like, oh, wow, this is weird. I've had 5 drinks. I feel like maybe 2.5, we'll say. Maybe 3. 2 to 3. And at that point, you're like, damn, okay, well, let's let's go ahead here. Let's have maybe 2 more drinks. So at this point, you have 2 more drinks. You got your energy still going. Your caffeine's still pumping through. You've had 7 drinks by this point. Normally, you'd be pretty sloppy, and you just feel drunk at this point, right? You feel drunk, but you're okay. So you're like, okay, well, this is weird. I'm going to have just 2 more drinks. We're going to cut her off there at 9. 9 in, let's say, 2 hours. That's binge drinking, but that's not out of the realm of possibilities at all for like a college student. So at this point, you're feeling pretty drunk. And 2 hours in, that Red Bull's probably going to be wearing off. And that's only if you've had 1 Red Bull. Let's say this person's had 2 Red Bull, just to keep it like a lot more realistic. Because, most person's probably not going to have 1 Red Bull if they're drinking. They're probably going to have at least 2. So you've had 9 drinks, 2 Red Bulls. Those 2 Red Bulls are going to like off-put at least 4 or 5 of those shots. So you don't feel it near as much. You feel out of this world, but you don't feel that level of drunk. You don't key into the fact that you're really drunk because I don't feel that drunk. Trust me, bro, you're drunk. So eventually caffeine wears off. And as you see in this graph, it's not like the normal like light blue thing of just getting drunk. It's just you're going out, you're in the yellow zone, and you're dead. Well, no, you're not dead. Yeah, you wouldn't be dead, but you get drunk. And I've done it once, and I'll even share the story. I drank 2 tall monsters, and I had a pint of gin. So that would be like 4 Red Bull and a pint of gin. And I should never drink a pint of anything. That's just, I don't think anyone should really, but people do it. Anyways, I'm not about drinking that much, but it was New Year's and I did it. And if this was a normal night, I would have had maybe half of it and said, oh, okay, wow, I'm feeling good. I might have a drink or 2 more, but I'm definitely not going to any more deep. And that'll be for the remainder of the night. I get to get some food into me, right? Keeping her calm. But the fact you have the energy drink in, you're like 1 monster, that's too much. That's too much because you're like, oh man, this is weird. I don't feel drunk. So you're like, okay, instead of, I'm going to have 2 more drinks in the entirety of the night. You're like, all right, I'm going to pound 2 more shots back and we'll see where we go. You drink the other monster, right? I drank the other monster and 2 monsters. You should not drink 2 monsters in any situation, right? So when you're drinking, it's like, I don't even feel drunk at all, man. I feel so awake because the caffeine's just suspending me up there and it's just dragging you out over that cliff. And at some point in the night, I don't remember when, the caffeine just kind of went away. And I just fell off a cliff, man, and I got so drunk. It was so bad. But I learned a lesson, right? And I learned this kind of idea, and I really feel like that's true, that whole idea of like the caffeine just suspends you and drops you. So that's what you do. You don't do like a normal descent. You kind of, I guess maybe my graph is a little off. Maybe that yellow should kind of slowly go down and then drop, but it's still really bad. And trust me, like this is kind of like a funny story, right? Because like, I got too drunk, but me and my girlfriend, like apparently that night we got in a super crazy fight and she was like threatening to break up with me and I like didn't even care and I just like went and slept on the couch. Like, I don't know who that was, but what I'm saying is don't ever, okay? If you're this far in, you must be like a good fan of my shows. Please, for me, if you're ever drinking, don't mix energy drinks. Just don't do it at all. Don't even have 1, okay? But being 18, 19 myself, I understand that you're probably not going to listen to my advice. So if you can help it, don't do it at all. Don't make it a common occurrence. Don't do it often. But I know Jager bombs come up once in a while. You're going to do a Jager bomb, okay? No more than 1. Please, no more than 1 Red Bull. That's a 250 milliliter Red Bull. That is gonna, like, that's the difference between you being really full when you being full and then starting drinking in your stomach and like normal. So like there's a little bit more to absorb it. So it's noticeable if you have a Red Bull while you're drinking, but it's not gonna like drop you off a cliff. It might affect you a bit, but 1 Red Bull, it's not good for you. It's really bad, in fact. I don't want you to do it, but I get that if you're drinking, you're probably going to have an energy drink with alcohol at some point. But what I'm saying is please, 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 please Don't do any more than that. Don't do any more. And I say that seriously. Like, I'm saying don't do it at all. I get that you're going to do it a little, but you're probably not going to listen to me. So just don't do it. Don't do any more than one, because it will drag you out there and you'll be feeling okay. And then all of a sudden it's going to drop off. You're going to be way too drunk. You're not going to be good. And it's going to be dangerous. Like drinking that many, more than one energy drink is pretty bad for you to begin with, especially 2 big monsters. Oh my God. What was I thinking? It's not good. And, I don't know, man. That's my word. That is my words of advice for you. So this episode has really been all about drinking. What did we start with? We started with, what was the first topic? Me turning 19, wasn't it? Yeah, so this really has been the drinking episode. So I am not drinking right now, but this has been the drinking episode. So that's kind of cool. So why don't we, should we just finish it with, do I have anything else I want to talk about? The drinking episode. I'll say the alcohol episode. Dude, I'm looking at these books right now. There's some books right in front of me. And the publisher is SSP. What is SSP? SmithSquad Podcast. That's weird. That's really creepy. Do I have any other interesting things to share with you guys about drinking? Any advice? Yeah, you know what? If you're this far in and I'm talking about alcohol, why don't I just finish off with some better advice for you that I've learned over my short drinking experiences. Okay, number one, don't mix alcohol. Don't mix your alcohol. So if you're going out, this is just, I'm going to do the five pro tips of drinking from a stupid 18-year-old that knows nothing. Okay? So just take it with a grain of salt. I'm a stupid old 18-year-old that really knows nothing and is not responsible with alcohol, but is more responsible than most, I would say. No. Okay. I'm trying to be humble here. Like, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I know how an 18-year-old thinks, or maybe someone who's 16, 17 who doesn't have as much experience. So I'm just going to give you my advice of someone in our mindset, because an adult is going to say, oh, you shouldn't have more than... Actually, they told us at our school, don't have more than 5 drinks in 2 hours. It's like, okay, well, that's not very much, really. But anyways, so I'm going to give you advice from our perspective, right? Because I know what it's like. Okay, don't mix alcohol. So what does that mean? This weekend, I was out at my camp, and I was with my aunt and uncle. So they started drinking, and they each had 2 beer. From there, it was dinner time, so they each had 2 glasses of wine. From there, they had a drink of rum. And then from there, my uncle, I think he had vodka. My aunt went back to wine. So why is that bad? Okay, well, I don't really understand why, but I look at it like this. You give your body, I read this somewhere, so it makes a lot of sense to me. You give your body squares, and it's like, okay, you give your body a 2-dimensional square. So you're like, okay. Your body's like, okay, I gotta process these squares, which let's say is beer. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. And it's still 2-dimensional shape. It's kind of the same thing, right? But it's different. It's somehow different. I don't understand the science, but it's different. So you get some wine. And that's like a rectangle. It's similar, but it's not the same thing. It's just a bigger rectangle. Okay, we'll say it that. So, your body's like, okay, well, that's different. I got to process this and this, so it's gonna be a little bit harder. But I got you. My liver, your liver's, I got you. Your body's like, I got you. But it's harder for it. And then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna throw in some rum in there. And that's when you're throwing in like a tetrahedral octagon in with the squares and the rectangles. So a tetrahedral, no, that can't be right. Let's just say an octagon, because a tetrahedral would mean 3D. We're sticking with 2D here. So you throw in an octagon, and it still is 2D shape, but your body's like, well, damn, this is totally different from those other 2 things I was just processing with. Okay, all right, I could do this, but it's going to be hard, and you're going to be pretty hungover tomorrow. And then you throw in something like vodka, and it's like a triangle, and it's like, okay, this is, again, totally different. Still same thing, concept, but it's totally different. So your body's like, okay, got to process squares, triangles, octagons, and triangles all in the same night. But if you were to say, okay, I'm just going to stick with beer tonight, your body would be given squares and it'd be dealing with squares, and you give it more squares and it's dealing with squares. And it's not really, it doesn't want to have to deal with squares, but it would rather deal with just that one thing. It's just, I don't know why it is. That's how they described it in really non-scientific terms. I don't know. So if you're going to go drinking, take one thing. Now with beer, I mean, you can go from Bud Light to Coors Light to Budweiser to Molson Canadian if you're from Canada to Keith's to Natural Light, whatever. You can really jump around there. But if you're going with like hard liquor, just like if you're going vodka, stick with vodka all night. If you're going rum, stick with rum. You're going whiskey, gin. Red wine, but don't drink red wine because you're 17. You look like a douchebag. And people will make fun of you. So there's tip number 1. Tip number 2, hydration, bro. Hydration. Okay, when I drink, I get really hungover really easily, which is why I don't like to drink often and why I've really don't drink as much, because I realized, okay, this is stupid. So the thing I always did that I noticed a lot of people wouldn't do is people get drink at the end of the night. People get that like, okay, I'm out, I'm shit-faced. Now I'm going to go home and I'm going to have a glass of water. Okay, that's good, but think about how many times you piss when you're drunk. A lot, right? And it's a lot, and it's really clear. So you got to fill all that back up into you. So what I like to do when I go drinking is I'll take so let's say, I don't know, maybe I have vodka or whatever. I'm usually a hard liquor guy. I just don't really like beer that much. I'll have like my mixed drink, right? But I'll also bring like a 500 milliliter water bottle with me. And after maybe 3 or 4 drinks, I'll drink all that. I won't go for my 5th drink before I finish that. So then, maybe I'll have like 2 or 3 more drinks, and then I'll fill that water bottle back up. And if I want any more drinks, I'm not going to do it until I finish this water bottle. So I get like a liter into me before I'm even like done the night. And then, I might go out, do more, probably wouldn't have much more than that, maybe one more drink, right? And then, we finish the night up, I go home, and then I have at least another water bottle, right? So it's not about like people think like, oh, I hydrated once, that's good. No, like try to hydrate throughout the night, because then you're not by the time you're home and you're drunk and you've had a great night, you're already really dehydrated. So like if you start the night with like a water bottle, go out, have the water bottle with you, right? Just to keep that hydration level up. That's a big one that a lot of people don't do. And man, oh my, is it helpful? Just it's good for you. You stay hydrated, right? So that's really good. Tip number 3. What are we going to go with tip number 3? If you're really young and you're just getting into alcohol, understand that you're not cool. That's just something to think. Like everybody drinks. It's not a big deal. Just don't, and don't understand here's what I mean is just because you're drunk doesn't mean it's okay for you to be a douchebag. Because I noticed people they're like, oh, I'm drunk now. We're all drunk together. This is so weird and different. That means I could act differently. No, you're still a human being. Still be a good person. Be nice and all that stuff. So it's no different. Just because you're drinking doesn't mean you're any different. Just be a cool person. Be nice to people like you would normally. Don't turn into a shitty drunk and be mean to people, right? On to number 4. What's another good piece of advice? The next day after you're hungover, I would say I recommend light exercise. Light exercise if you're feeling not great. If you're feeling awful, it's hard to, but get a little light exercise in you. That it's amazing. If you just go for a really light run, really light bike ride, even like a walk, like a 20-minute, 30-minute walk, you'll be surprised how helpful it is. A lot of people will tell you like eat greasy food. And the only reason that I think that's true is because greasy food gives you a lot of dopamine into your brain, and it makes you a little bit happier, and you feel bad. So feeling happy is good, but you don't need to really follow that up. So go out, get some exercise. Make sure you're drinking water all throughout the day, and especially in the morning. In the morning, what you want to do is like Gatorade. Every time. G2, lifesaver, save you a million times. Wake up, pound back a G2, then for the rest of the day, drink your water. Go for just light exercise. Don't push it. So that's like 4 is kind of like rehabilitation, right? And my number five, okay, is if you have to get your alcohol from a super sketchy guy that your parents wouldn't trust, don't even bother getting it. Okay? Get it from a mom, well, not a mom. Get it from your brother or your older friend, someone like that. But don't get someone really sketchy to get it for you, because then they'll text you again. They'll have your number. It's just really sketchy. So don't do that. Okay. There's your 5 tips for drinking. Don't mix alcohol. Drink water. Don't think you're cool. Get exercise, and don't hang out with sketchy people. Honestly, though, that's like a normal way to living life. Like, I guess the mixing, that doesn't really, but drink water. Drink water every day, right? Don't think you're better than others. Be cool. Just be nice to people. Exercise every day, and don't hang out with sketchy people. So boom, that's all that transitions into real life as well. I'm definitely going to forget that graph I made. I know I'm going to. So maybe I can put it in the description or something afterwards. And at this point, here. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for watching this episode or listening to this episode of the SmithSquad Podcast. That was 26. I turned 19 and 12 minutes, but I can't last that long. I don't have anything else to say. That was an episode all about drinking, so I hope that you look at that. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I just filled an hour, so I feel happy with myself that I did that. I had no idea I was going to talk about alcohol that long, but there you go, guys. Don't go overboard on the drinking. Be safe. You're looking for adventures, not for just being drunk to feel drunk, okay? I love you all. Moi. Have a great day. I'll be safe tomorrow. I will follow all of those 5 tips. Trust me. And that's it, guys. I love you. Bye. And Advanced Warfare videos coming soon. Moi. Moi.